things I'm especially proud of is how well we've done across America. And we're going to be the first Democrat elected in Arizona in 24 years.
Good morning.
Worked in 28 years.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Or good day, depending on what part of the world you're at. Good morning. How are we all doing? Okay, I hope my lighting is right. Thank you. Good morning. All right. Whew. Welcome to November. This is the first weekend in November, and depending on where you are, it's really cold where I'm at, and so I'm having a nice warm cup of ginger tea this morning. How are we all doing? Okay, so this month, like we already said, we're going to be exploring the power behind your private conquest and the power behind your ability to take ownership of your journey. So while we're doing that, just give me a few minutes. Let me be sure we have everything right. Okay? Okay, great. So we're going to be looking at the power behind your private conquest. How do I take ownership of it? What tools do I use to ensure that I fully maximize those seasons in my life that seem as though I am overwhelmed or I'm unable to figure out what to do? How do I like to use the word honor your journey, because oftentimes we have so many amazing things that we are either going through or been through. We may not have liked them, but then if we look closely, we will find that there's been so much about it that that have helped to shape us, to give us strength, or to give us wisdom to go through all of these situations. And it is my hope that you're able to identify these areas in your life. We'll be here every Saturday at 6 a.m. to share through the journey of the power behind our private conquest. Okay, and you can follow me on Instagram as well at Theodora Ayeni. 1 minute, I need to turn down the volume of that TV for a second.
And also the economic recovery that he had a plan for the economic.
So give me a second, guys. I'll be right back. I think that's a bit too loud. Okay.
He basically reached out to the American people.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry I had to do that. I didn't realize it was so loud until it came up. Okay, so we're going to be looking at that, and I hope that you find this entire journey helpful. If you do find it helpful, please share your comments, your feedback, share the link with your friends, follow on Instagram as well if you do find the comments helpful. If you do have questions, also please put them in the comment section, or you can send me a DM, okay, so that we don't just go through the journey. You actually are able to internalize this and personalize this learning experience as much as possible for yourself. Okay? All right. I do hope that you have your notepad. I'm very big on people having notepads to make sure that they put down everything. Why is that? Because it's easy for the brain to remember what is written, okay? The hand is the pathway to the brain. That's what Dr. Montessori taught us. And so we have to make sure we always write. Again, your notes make for a good tool for you to review. So I don't want you showing up every Saturday morning at 6 a.m. and just listening to me or looking at me, and then you have to leave. And then you're trying to have a review and you're unable to. So now that we're sure that we have our notepads and we're ready for this journey through the month of November, can we dive right into it? And in case you're somewhere where it's cold like I'm at, please feel free to grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Mine is ginger tea at the moment. Good morning again if you're in Nigeria, or good day depending on what part of the world you're at. All right. So we're going to begin this first weekend. Hello, I can see you. Good to have you. Good morning. Oh, that made me smile. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. All right. Okay. So we're going to dive right into the topic, and our topic is the platform of your private conquest. Now, oftentimes, as young people, as individuals, people, we're all living our lives, and there's a temptation to start to think about, these are the things I want to do, these are the things that I'm passionate about, and where am I going to do it? How are people going to know that these are the things that I want to do, these are the things that are passionate for me? And it's simple. First, come to the fullness of the things that are important to you. Come to the place where your values are grounded, where it is clear what you want to be able to do. Not just so much about what am I going to benefit from it. Sometimes just the process of actually doing something is the transformation that you need. And so as we begin this journey today, I want us to first get that part, that the platform of private conquest starts with first being clear, what do I even want to do? So this may be a situation where you're not enjoying the experience, it is challenging, or it is difficult, or it is upsetting, or it's pushing you in difficult corners. I like to use the word scratching you. It is scratching you in places that you do not appreciate. But then, what is important, if you must first begin this journey with an understanding of the power behind your conquest, is to say, what do I even want to do? Because that is where the game begins to change. Understanding what you want to do in that situation is the first phase. Okay, and how do you even get to the point where you now know what you want to do? Because a lot of times, it's not like you sat down and planned for all of these things coming at you. And yet you need to have victory over it. And yet you need to own the journey. You need to acknowledge that, yes, you know what, Theodora, you know what, put your name there. You need to leave. You need to show up for your life. And so the first thing I would advise that we do as we begin the journey to owning your private victory is to define what are the things that are most important to you. I would like to use the word values, and I know that that word has been used a lot of times, maybe almost misunderstood. But the truth is, be clear, what values do you want? What is the most important thing to you? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it love? Is it truth? Is it friendship? What kind of friendship? Is it family? Is it my children? Is it my career? Is it my business? Literally make a list and say, okay, for me, these are the things that are important to me, and I'm going to make sure that I protect them. Once you identify what is most important to you, they begin to guide your decision making. So if you decide that, while I know that money is important and I want to have some money because I need to be able to live, my well-being is important to me, then it will begin to guide your choices. It means as you go through that challenging situation or upsetting situation, sometimes it's not even upsetting. You're happy to be in it, but it's not productive. Okay, so whatever it is, that situation that may not be profitable to our lives and our well-being, whether it's financial, health-wise, emotionally, mentally, whatever it is. And so we find it as some spot that is making our life a little bit uneasy. The first thing you need to quickly ask yourself is, what are the things that are most important to me? And quickly do a check, a self-check. This is not the time to sit and say, oh my God, my life is falling apart. Trust me, I've done that before. It doesn't really change anything. If you feel like your life is falling apart, it is going to fall apart. But then it's to do a quick checklist. What are the things that are important to me? In the core of me, what is important? Is it truth, love, family? And once you can identify those, then you're able to find the strength to begin to decide, what steps do I now want to take? Because the things that are important to you, permit me to call them your values. Your values will help decide on your decision making. And once you're able to make a decision slowly with baby steps, one action at a time, you'll be able to go. Now, this is even the bigger thing about value, beyond the baby steps, is that it even just gives you clarity as to knowing what to do. Okay, right now, this situation is upsetting my mental well-being, and my mental well-being is important to me, so I need to put a pause on it and reorganize myself, or I need to put a pause on it and eliminate it, or I need to put a pause on it and redo it. But if you're not clear what your values are when the situation is happening, even if you think up everything, you will still find yourself unable to move in little baby steps towards a constructive change that you want to see. So understand that you are the core of your life. And this is not taking away the place of the Almighty, but I hope you get what you mean. Okay, so you are the core of your life. Sit with yourself, have a meeting with yourself, be real with yourself. And if you're dramatic like I am, you can do a video of the meeting or an audio recording and say, you know what? What's going on? What's important for me? And in case you're not sure what's important for you, there are 3 things I use when I want to find what's important to me. My character. What's happening to my character through this situation? What's happening? Is my character becoming stronger or weaker through this situation? So that's one tool. The second tool is, what attributes, what skills, what virtues that are inside of me am I using right now? What am I seeing of myself? Am I seeing an angry self? Am I seeing a restless self? Am I seeing a happy self, a toxic self? Okay? And then thirdly, how can I make the best of this situation? What good? Okay, I am Christian, so I encourage myself with the scripture that says all things work together for my good. If you're not Christian, you can find something else. If you're Christian, I beg you to use that as well. Okay, so first off, to the journey of private victory, what have we said so far? Is that first, I must honor my journey, own my process, and understand what is important to me. What is important to me are my values, and I need to sit with myself, right? And have a meeting with myself and say, okay, for me, I love money, but truth is important to me. Love is important to me. Respect is important to me. Honor is important to me. And so I'm not going to do anything that does not enhance these values in my life. Then you pause. And then you say, oh, but then what do I even do in this situation? You check yourself again using these 3 tools. What is happening to my character in this situation? Is it becoming stronger? Is it becoming weaker? Secondly, what attributes, what skills am I finding in myself? And COVID was such a good time, especially during the lockdown, because, COVID is still around. Especially during the lockdown, for a lot of people to find something. And even if you didn't find anything new, just being able to go through it. What am I seeing in myself? Because when we don't do that, then we miss out on honoring ourselves and the value that we bring to the world. Now, I'll tell you something I've learned. The world may be able to see your value, but they may not honor it. And before you start to say, oh, well, it's probably because I haven't talked a lot about it. No, the world sometimes actually does see your value, but they won't honor it. Why? Maybe because you haven't seen it, or maybe because you don't even honor yourself enough. So honor yourself. Sit with yourself again. It doesn't matter how young or how old you are. I tell all my adult students, the day you know is the beginning for you. So sit with yourself again. Identify these values. What is it that is important to me? In my character, in my life, in my business relationships, in my finances, in my health. What are the things that are important to me? For me personally, I'm at that space where if you're not the God Almighty or my son or anything that is adding value to the sanity in the world, I'm not going to do you. I'm not going to do you because the world is already chaotic. If you're going to be telling lies and be deceptive, I'm not going to do you because the world is already toxic enough. So I need truth. Those are things that are important to me. And so I use that to guide my decision when I have to do things. And this can be a hard place to be because sometimes it feels like you're changing from the person you were and now people don't know what's going on with you. It's okay. If you own it long enough with an understanding of the substance of who you are, people will understand as well. So as you go on this journey, do not for any reason belittle that experience that you have, that skill, that joy, that smile. Because sometimes we're looking for big things. We're looking for social mileage. No. If all that you do to the world is make sure that the person right next to you is smiling, that's enough social mileage. Okay, because until we begin to understand the power of our private space and our private conquest, we will not be able to put sufficient amount of honor upon ourselves and upon the gifts that we bring to the world. And trust me, I imagine we all know that there's a lot of chaos, and so the world needs people who are centered in their core, who are able to give love, who are able to give joy, who are able to uphold the world by the strength of their character. That's the only way we can enjoy the peace and the beauty and the harmony that we desire in life. And so as we go on into November, every Saturday we will show up here and say, oh, what are we going to do about owning our private victories? And until we fully own our private victories, we're not going to be able to see all the other things. We don't want to be people who people look at us and say, oh, wow, he did that, she did that. And you're looking at yourself and wondering, oh, really? Is that me? No. You should go, oh, wow, dear God, I'm thankful that was me. I'm thankful I was the tool. Because it's very important that we own those journeys. And a lot of times it's easy to feel like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. You quickly go back again, bring out your note and say, what are the things that are important? And I'm really emphasizing this because a lot of times we forget the values that are important to us. And so we're just moving with the social wave to make social mileage. It is first important that we thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's Big Daddy. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much. Thank you. So it is first important that we agree with ourselves that these are the things that are important to me, and it doesn't matter what happens, I'm going to uphold them, so that when the social wave begins to happen, you're able to still stand and say, in the core of me, I am a person of truth, I'm a person of diligence. Put whatever things are important to you. Those are just a few of the things that are important to me, and so I won't let myself get drowned in the social wave for social mileage. No, I'm going to center myself and just serve the world what I have to serve the world. And that's the only point where you can truly find peace. You can truly find the fullness of you. And peace is not about how much money you have in the bank. It's not even about how well you feel in your body. It's about how at peace are you with the core of your being, with yourself. My legs may be hurting, but with myself, I am happy. My hands may be hurting. I may have screen fatigue, but in the center of myself, I am happy. I am excited because I know that I'm doing the things that are most important to me and my space on the earth. And that's the way we can get the world that we want. That's the way we can enjoy the harmony that we want. Not about, oh, who's looking at me? Or who's recognizing me? No. So celebrate your private platform. Take ownership of it. And in case you're saying, oh, but my own experience is not a happy one. I'm sad. Everybody doesn't care about me. Excuse me. Just bring out your book again and remind yourself, hey, what's important? What's important to me? And that's why we started the way we started, that we're first identifying what is important. And in case you don't know how to build that list, there are 3 tools to build that list. The first thing is, what's important? Have your meeting and say, okay, Theodora, put your name there. Okay, what do I want? And the second thing is, put that thing first all the time. You know, one of the things that are very important to me is I just want to change the world. I just want to show the world that love is possible. Like, I can be doing my job as an educator in your home, and then I'm just going to share the beauty of it, the love of it, so that your child is transformed, you are transformed, your nanny is transformed, and there's love and there's peace in the air, so that that child has a continued inspiration for learning, whether or not I'm the teacher. That's something that's important to me. So even when I'm tired, even when I really don't feel like jumping or singing, I would remind myself. So if you get to the point, because sometimes we sit through the tax of saying, okay, now I know what's important for me, Teacher Dora, but it's not working. The next step is always put it first. Put what is important first all the time. So if it's money that is important to you, put it first all the time. If it's values that are important to you, put it first all the time. If it's relationship with people that are important to you, put it first all the time. If it's your health, put it first all the time. If it's yourself, put it first all the time. And understand, which is the third part, understand that what is important to you changes per time. What is important changes per time. Because sometimes we think, oh, but in January, these are the things that were important to me. But now COVID has happened, so I don't know what to do. I'm just confused. What am I going to do? Oh, okay. How can I do it differently? You know, because what is important to you remains constant, right? But you can do it differently. You can do it differently. Once upon a time, I was a teacher in one classroom, and I was happy, and it was fruitful. And then once upon a time, I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to be in many more rooms. I want to reach many more children. And so a classroom was not enough for me anymore. I was in homes. I was in schools. I was in churches. I was everywhere. So what is important remains the same in the core of it. But the way that you do it keeps changing. Now that's the tricky part, because sometimes if you haven't gotten what's important to you well grounded, then when it's time for those re-emerging to happen, for those recreation moments to happen, then you hold back because you're afraid. It doesn't look like something you know. And I learned something very recently, that we're all miracle workers. So why not? Why not enjoy the beauty of, this is the core of who I am, and I'm just going to let it change. As the earth spins, I'm just going to keep evolving for as long as I'm on it. Because in my evolving, I am able to serve the universe, different dimensions of me. Different dimensions of my gifts, different expressions of my gifts. And that is when we truly become a blessing to the earth. And that is when we truly become a blessing to ourselves. And that is when we truly become a blessing to the universe. And imagine if all of us fully express multiple dimensions of ourselves as the universe needed it. And it sounds ridiculous and maybe too difficult to achieve. But the truth is, right in your very space, in that space that looks like one tiny winning space, you can do it. And it doesn't have to have 1 billion people in it. It doesn't even have to have 2 people in it. I tell my adult students a lot of times that, you know, sometimes you're too busy looking for the big number. You forget that just having true impact with one person, and that one person can be the one who goes and does 1,000 people. It still leaves you with a blessing. Understand the different dimensions of that. So before I keep you for too long, because we all have to go for a run or a walk or a Saturday morning. So what did we look at this morning? We said this is the first part, so you can plan to join on next Saturday. So what did we look at this morning? We said first we're going to sit with ourselves, have a meeting and decide what is important to me. Secondly, we're going to always put what is important first, no matter what happens. You know, I tell people we bleed till we win. It doesn't even matter what is happening. Okay? And thirdly, we're going to always evaluate ourselves and say, what's happening to me in this situation? What's happening to my character in this situation? What contribution can I bring in this situation? With yourself. Don't sit and throw a pity party. With yourself. And once we can win on that level, then of course we're able to serve the world, a better expression of ourselves, and that will be so much joy to the world. Think about it. The happier you're able to pour yourself to the people around you, to the job that you do, to the business that you do, to the children that you have, to the family, to the grandchildren, to everyone who comes across you, the more joy you put to the world. And there's never been a time where we need more joy, more love, and more people who are aware of who they are so that they can serve the world their best self. Okay, so please feel free to put your comments or questions or contributions, or if there's something you would need me to talk about as we go through this series. We'll be here every Saturday at 6 a.m. and we'll be talking about the power of our victories in our private places. Remember, one of the biggest tools to private victory is self-discipline and self-control. So even being able to show up here every Saturday at 6 a.m. will require you to make a commitment, okay, which is a good way to practice your self-discipline, and own it. Own it. Don't make an excuse. Make results for your life. It doesn't matter what has happened. Make results for your life. Show up for your life and honor your journey well enough to give it the best of you. And I'm hoping that you find strength, renewed strength, to go and chase after the things that are most important to you in the different seasons of your life as it evolves. And take ownership of it and serve it in the best way that you know how to. Remember that you are who you are in the core of you. You are not who you are based on social mileage. So stop looking for social mileage and look for self-mileage first. When you get it right with your character and your contributions to the world, then you will be able to find space. In fact, the world will make space for you when you identify your spot. All right? Have a great weekend. See you again next Saturday at 6 a.m. Wake up early. Wake up early. Have some tea if you need to. And remember to keep warm depending on what part of the world you are. It's really cold where I'm at today. So keep warm if you need to. All right. Feel free to send a DM if you have a question. Feel free to drop your comments or contributions or any other thing you would love us to discuss. We'll be back again next Saturday discussing the part 2 of the platform of private victory. Take ownership of your life, use your tools, self-discipline and self-control, and build a better character to improve yourself and the world. Have a great weekend and stay blessed. This is Teacher Dora. I love you. Thank you all for coming on. Thank you. Bye-bye.